Right, I woke up with an idea this morning and I just want to put it across here whilst I wait. What do you mean ego? What do you mean ego? What do you mean? People, I don't think they understand this whole concept, right? And I didn't really. So, like, you can talk about ego, what's that? The voice in my head? People say that. What's ego? Is it like pride? Is it being proud? Oh, you're egotistical, proud, right? Let's look at this, right? Let's look at it. And we're going to do it with a pen on a whiteboard. Yeah. Right. So red I think it's a useful analogy. I think it's useful. It's been useful to me today. So, like, if you think about the sun, this is the analogy. So, like, what are we? What is everything? Everything, science will tell us, is energy. All particles are energy, okay? So this whiteboard, it's actually just energy. There's nothing there really apart from energy, okay? There's nothing in the universe apart from energy, okay? So the only thing in the universe is energy. So what am I? Okay, so I'm energy, okay? So how do I think? What is my being, okay? What is speaking to you now? What is conscious? Okay, energy. Okay, because there's nothing else. Okay, so energy is conscious. Okay, so let's think about ourselves as a child then, like maybe we have done before, and think about ourselves as the sun. Really, what we are as people, individuals, is like the sun, right? We're a source of energy, right? We shine out. We said this before, okay? We're shining out, okay? And that's what it is. And then so, like, we can't experience ourselves, we're just shining out. Do you know what I mean? But we can experience ourselves because the sun, we'll see that, is like it sends out great spurts from itself, doesn't it? And they come back to itself, right? Like whatever they're called, solar flares, right? And so the sun can shine on itself. See? So it's like an imagination, right? So you cast out your vision and you get to experience your, do you know what I mean? Your thinking in vision, right? So this is different from what is ego. What is ego, right? And then sometimes we're creative. So we actually, like a coronal mass ejection, right? We send energy out into the universe, right? We make music or we write some poetry or something like that. Okay, so if we're like the sun and we're just shining, we have a colour and we're just like, yay, joy, child, right? We're that, right? Where does ego? What's that? Okay, well, I can tell you what happened to me is I dropped a glass on the floor. I did at Mrs. Barrett's house. I don't know. Was I like 2? I was young. I was. And I was like, I can hold a glass. Tiny kid, man, toddler. I can hold a glass. She was like, didn't want to give me a glass. She's like, shall I give him plastic? And I was like, no, I can have glass. This was somebody else's house. This was the teacher. My mother had taken me there. And she was proud of me. But I took this glass and I dropped it on the floor onto the quarry tiles and it smashed. And I was in trouble because I had brought shame on my mother. And so what happened was that I went to a dark place, right? I went to a dark place and so I could see myself. I was like standing outside myself, looking at myself, being ashamed, okay, because I was guilty of dropping a glass. I was guilty of being insufficiently good, right? I became self-conscious, so it's like a planet was formed, okay, outside of the sun. I am the sun, but then I became self-conscious. I became the earth then in darkness, and I could see myself. So then there's like a person stood on a planet. Well, who's that? Who's that? That's the ego, right? The ego is the part of ourselves that we have projected outside of ourselves that looks back at us. Okay? But because we've projected part of ourselves outside of ourselves, that's like a person, because it's made out of what we're made out of. It's made out of person. It's made out of energy. It's made out of our energy. So that's like a person, because we made it. And it's looking back at us. But we can be that person. We can be that separated body and look back at ourselves. And we can lose sight of who we are. We can think we are that separate body. We can start to think that things are real on this planet, but really it's just a part of the truth that was cast outside of ourselves from our true nature. Everything is energy. Okay, so that's what ego is this doesn't really exist. It doesn't really, it's not real. It's not real. Okay, so when we're being ego, it's when we're looking back on ourselves, and then so that gives us the power. If we're being ego, there are other planets here, right? There are other planets around, so there are other people around, and they're cast off the sun, the same place, mate, the same place. Their energy, and they're cast from the same place as us. Okay, but if we think with this, okay, and we're saying, oh, this planet's bigger, this other planet's smaller. Ugh. Gravity, right? This push, okay, and this pull, okay. It's not real, but we can just live our lives like that, and that is it. Pushing and pulling. It's not real. We're this. We're energy. This is not real. This is darkness. That's the ego. That's what ego is. Unreality.